Alright, what's up, guys? Hey, Alley Cat. I'm gonna read over this, and I was meaning to make a video talking about this. I just got a whack. Did I just get a follow? I got a follow on D Live. That was random. Why do I have that turned on? Okay. Alright. Okay, whatever. Um, I like you, and I like your content, but this crypto stuff is not interesting. Can you get back to game development? There have been some really great combos in the industry over the last 2 years regarding game design, level editing, hardware and software changes, GCC presentations, Unreal Engine, Unity, CryEngine, Amazon. Yeah, I've already talked about a lot of these topics. In fact, there's really sort of I'm noticing sort of a plateauing at this point because a lot of the stuff that the Unreal 4 engine has to offer is already well beyond its threshold. Like I could build an entire first person shooter all by myself. Now knowing the stuff that I know right now, if I can manage to find a way to make money, I can fund myself making a better first person shooter with better everything, infinitely better than Revulsion in half the time. I mean, that's ridiculous. At this point in time, the game design stuff isn't the challenge anymore. The game design stuff isn't the challenge. Um, not to say that game design isn't challenging. I'm saying that, relatively speaking, within this threshold, um, yeah, like I'm not concerned about that anymore. What I'm more concerned about is figuring out an angle to to figure out how I can get some kind of publicity or an angle where I can try something that hasn't been done before because everything else is being done. And the crypto stuff is definitely something that hasn't been done yet. The level editing hasn't changed. The hardware is just getting better. GZC presentations, Unreal Engine itself is continually getting better. We got ray tracing now. Unity, right, and CryEngine, cool. I'll never end up using Unity or the CryEngine unless I'm doing contract work. Amazon, they don't know what they're doing. They have tons of money, but they're sort of the antithesis of me. You know what I mean? Like I know exactly what I want. They're just a big company that like, why don't we do this thing that we can like when somebody decides to spend money, they can change the way the game. This is Lumberyard I'm talking about. I'm assuming anyway. Distributed software. That is crypto, by the way, and just haven't heard you mention these topics. Well, crypto is is exactly that distributed software. But no disrespect to you at all, but I do like to get I do, but you do have got your head buried in the crypto desert for some reason. Right now, the only reason why, and keep in mind too, probably I was meaning to put up another video about this. I want to say this real quick. I'm not gonna I was gonna put up a video talking about how I'm going to start disassociating my YouTube channel with crypto entirely. So the only stuff that I talk about anymore will be, yeah, my actual, like my full content creation channel and everything like that is going to be on DTube and possibly DLive, but mostly DTube, right? Apparently DLive is a huge deal now, so whatever. But things are doing really great on the DLive front. But YouTube is just going to be a place where I put up my announcements for game development or announcements for Revulsion and stuff like that. Which there haven't been many recently, mainly because I've been kind of in a holding pattern, um, sort of hoping to get some kind of support on the front of um, getting the tools I need for me to be able to continue, to develop um, what I need for Revulsion, right? Now, Revulsion, I can add more to it. I can do more things to it, but it's starting to feel more and more obvious that it's just kind of a dead end at this point because I just I don't see anything really changing as far as people giving a shit about the game. I mean, there are a few people who do, and I really, really, really appreciate it. It's just overall speaking, I can't advertise it like Reddit. Reddit just calls me a shill or fucking. I don't even know what I can do. Like seriously, it's so pointless. It feels I'm kind of defeated on that front right now. And in fact, I'm now more than ever probably just looking to maybe just get a regular industry job again. I mean, I'm sure that having something like Revulsion on my portfolio is more than most people have, so I could probably maybe leverage that. But then there's been so many layoffs lately too in the game industry. It just makes me feel discouraged in general. I don't see a lot of happy or hope in the future. So I'm naturally kind of latching onto whatever seems the most positive at the moment. And at the moment, um, the whole crypto space is basically a cheat code. I mean, I'm looking at the stock market, I'm looking at all kinds of stuff, and I'm just seeing doom and gloom right now. I don't know about anybody else, but um, a lot of the problems that everybody's having with the game industry right now, those are all problems that are absolutely just steeped in the fact that the stock market is taking a giant shit. And everybody who's saying otherwise right now, maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll prop it up more, but that's why we're starting to see more corruption, increased amounts of microtransactions. We're starting to see people getting laid off. We're starting to see things get tougher in the game industry, mainly because the economy is not in a very good spot, and they're doing more quantitative easing to fix the problem. It's going to put us right back into square one again. So, guys, I don't know, man. I don't. I think this is bad. Like you might call it a crypto desert, but I'm seeing a lot of hopelessness right now, like a lot of it, and there's not. I don't know. Maybe I've just been paying attention too much to the details. If I could just, you know, turn myself into an NPC and keep going like that, it would make a lot of sense. I don't know. Um, it's more likely now that I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but it's it's not a good situation. All right. I mean, if I was talking about this, it would be basically, well, the game industry is going to experience a lot of the same problems right alongside of the stock market. Now, I mean, you could say that it posted a slightly higher high, but it's still a lower high compared to the top. And maybe it's just charging up for another rally. I mean, it's done this before in the past. But okay, anyway, look, there's no point in talking about that. Um, the crypto desert is a desert now. It's not going to be a desert forever, and it is probably the only chance a dev like me actually has in terms of being able to go indie and, I mean, have some kind of a self-sustaining position, something either it be for the publicity or for um, anything along those lines. That's the only hope that I actually see. I don't really see a whole lot of hope otherwise. Now, I could probably be looking around more for a regular job. Um, I'm leaning pretty strongly in that direction at the moment because things are just not working out on any front. But the only hope that I had for a while was that I would be able to sort of get into the crypto space, get the tools that I need, and then just begin developing. And then at that point, that's when I would be talking about game development again, because I'd be more focused on the game development, not so much just trying to get a fucking plugin for Unreal 4. You know what I mean? I wouldn't need to do these at length videos where I'm talking about the way the technology works or what it would mean or blah blah blah. I could just do it, which is exactly what I did with Revulsion. There's a lot of people that when I talk to them about how Revulsion would work, they'd be like, "You need to get yourself out of this like, old school shooter desert." You know what I mean? Like that's actually the same thing that I got for that. I was like, yeah, man, you should be talking about like doing something new that's never been done before. I mean, it's like, well, yeah, but you can take something that's already been done and you can change it a little, and then it becomes something that's never been done. But go figure. It's just a constant cycle whenever you're dealing with uh, trying to find that one idea and making it work. So uh, the good news is that once I do get the tools, if that's the way things end up going, it's just a plugin that I need. I already have one right now that's functional, but I would prefer to have it, in a slightly different. I prefer to have it on a different SKU, so to speak. But um, then I would just be focused on the game development side of things again. I would be talking about like how I'm building the maps and everything like that, and like all the lessons that I learned with Revulsion. I mean, I actually learned quite a bit with Revulsion. The only problem is that there's just no. It's like I'm just throwing myself down a well if I keep trying this and I don't try something different. If I don't do something that nobody's done before, I don't see a reason. Like it's not gonna change. I'm gonna sell 3 copies a week. Like there's not gonna nothing's gonna happen here. Look at everything Epic has done: license cost, royalty. I've already talked about all this stuff, and then again, that kind of goes back to the same thing as well. It's like it's all just noise now. I mean, I got everything I need from Epic. Epic's done their job. They're finished. I don't need anything else from them. They could, you know, I can get Revulsion on the Steam Marketplace. That would be pretty cool. Um, for the first time in decades, it really genuinely feels like the '80s again. Yeah, honestly, for me, it does too. I mean, I'm looking at other people developing entire games like Proteus and stuff like that, where they have like a first-person shooter designed by like one person that actually has like, really tight art and everything like that. Um, with self-publishing tapes and at market stalls that have games they wrote in their bedrooms. I mean, yep, yeah, it's totally, totally. But 99% of them, actually more than that, 99.999 repeating percent of them are never are never going to get up, are not going to be profitable. There's no way, especially after people start doing. This is going to be the regular thing now. Everyone's going to be doing it. So I I mean I get it. I get the move on thing. I was told the move on thing too when it came to Revulsion. I was. I was told to move on when it came to Revulsion 2. They were like, "Oh, if what makes it different? It's just Quake again." I was like, "Because it's a looter shooter? Oh, that's not enough. Why don't you do something else? Why don't you like it was people have a hard time understanding um I don't know. It's it's difficult unless you can show somebody The thing is, though, it doesn't really make very much sense. My YouTube channel is supposed to be about making and playing first-person shooters, and I'm sitting here doing fucking technical analysis on Bitcoin. Okay, I'm guilty. Definitely doesn't need to be happening on the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel needs to be just focused on the game design side of things. But after a while, if things can work out, there won't be a difference. So if you're somebody who likes my content from you know, the stuff that I've been doing so far, then in the description will be links to my DTube, YouTube, or DTube, DLive, and um, Busy and discussions, blogging and everything like that. Although you can just follow me on Twitter, you'll probably get the same information for most of my posts on those other platforms as well. But those other platforms I'm actually earning money with those platforms. So it's not much, but it's something. So with all that said, I get it. I understand, and two, like if you're getting like 2 upvotes, for me that's like huge. I get 2 upvotes. I don't know, guys. Guys, I don't. I'm actually. I don't know. The way things are right now, it's just. I tend to get distracted for maybe a month, and then I come back into the game development stuff pretty hard. It seems to happen. I've done that. That's what gave me the push. Like I got distracted for a bit um, with Revulsion before I actually decided to set a release date and get it out, and actually finish the game. Um, but I don't know. It kind of does. There's nothing to move on to. I, Alley Cat. I'm sorry. I mean, I get that there's this move on thing. There's nothing else to move on to. Like, what am I gonna do? I can improve my social media presence, which would probably be best, right? Actually be in a situation where I'm developing content that people actually consume on social media. I could probably be more streaming, and stuff like that. But that's just gonna push me even further into the crypto space. So there's really nothing because I have a decent following already there. And now that fucking PewDiePie went over to D Live, last night's stream went better than any stream I've ever done in my past ever, like by a lot. Um, and maybe that's temporary or whatever, but yeah, that's kind of crazy, man. All right, so with that said, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna make sure that this channel is focused only on the game development stuff and announcements for Revulsion. Um, so yeah, that's my 2 cents on the feedback. Well, thanks for at least taking the time to point this out and everything like that. I get it. I get it. I know. All right, take it easy.